if you would say and spell your first and last name. Say and spell your first and last name.
Oh, Charles Wilson, CHARLES, WILSON.
And Charles, tell me, what year did you have your All on 4 done?
I had it in 2006.
So tell me what its life has been like with it.
Oh, it's been great. I tell you, it's the very best investment that I've ever made, and one of the very best decisions I have made. And you want me to tell you about how I got into this?
Yes, please.
Okay. In 2006, I had an upper partial plate, and it has the 2 little hooks on it, you know. And one of the teeth that attached to the hook right here got loose. I said, oh man, what am I gonna do? So anyway, I went to my dentist the next morning, and he said, oh, that won't be any problem. We'll just hook it over to the next tooth. I said, oh, I don't know about that, you know. So I thought I'll just have to look into some alternatives and other possibilities. So anyway, I had a friend of mine who had been to Dr. Rob Schroering and had some really good experience with him, said he was a great guy, a good dentist, and a good Christian. So all 3 of those I liked, so I looked up his name and number and called him and made an appointment. So I sat down, the first thing they did was make a series of pictures and x-rays. And then Rob came in, sat down with me and said, you know, you would be a good candidate for the All-in-4. He said, your structure of your mouth is good, your bones and everything is strong enough. So why don't you consider that? And I said, well, I don't know anything about it. So he said, well, you'll come in and we'll put you to sleep and we'll pull all the other teeth that you have, the upper teeth, and then put the 4 implants in and install a new set of teeth. And you'll walk out of here with a new set of good-looking teeth. So I was like, oh, you gotta be kidding. I mean, there's no way I can come in here with beat up old short ground teeth and 1 loose one and have new teeth when I walk out of here. And sure enough, that's what's happened. And I went out of there with new teeth. And I thought at first probably that I would feel like I had a glob of something foreign in my mouth, but that wasn't the case at all. It was just normal, just really a regular situation, and they felt good, and I went home and I could eat most anything I wanted. I believe back in those days they said eat some soft food for a while. I don't know if that's the same way now or not, but anyway I did, and I've been able to eat anything I want, including corn on the cob. So, you know, it's a good situation. It's been great for me for 13 years, and I would strongly advise anybody to get them. A friend of mine who also has them said, you know, it's a quality of life issue, really. It's about improving your life situation, and it's just been a wonderful decision that I have had for these 13 years.
Well, you know, so many people that have to live life, or a portion of their life wearing dentures, have their bone recede, and no matter how great those dentures look,
yeah,
their face changes.
Yeah.
And have you noticed, has yours stayed the same?
It stayed the same, and you know, I went to my eye doctor, I guess about a year ago, and the lady will sit there and does the pre-exam and the paperwork, and she looked up and she said, you have the prettiest teeth. And I said, well, thank you. I said, you can buy them. So anyway, I get a lot of comments like that, so I've been very pleased. And there was a period where when I took pictures, at least at my son's wedding, I remember I never opened my mouth. I would always smile with my mouth closed because I wasn't very proud of the teeth that I had, but that's certainly not the case now.
Let me ask you, what has maintenance been like these 13 years?
Well, I just go every 6 months and have them cleaned, and that's about it, just like I always did. That's it. No other maintenance. They're just normal. They're just regular teeth. They just feel as good as regular teeth do, and better.
Let me ask you, if somebody is sitting there thinking about making this investment, and what would you tell them?
Well, I'd tell them there's no more root canals. There's no more teeth filling. There's no more crowns. So, you know, you've got that as part of it you got to consider. And then it's just worth it. It's just a good investment. It's a good feeling to have teeth that you can enjoy and not have to worry with dentures and things like that.
What do you think about Rob and his staff?
Outstanding. I was very impressed with Rob. Matter of fact, when he went on his
Let's
mission,
start that over.
he went on his mission.
Wait a second. Let's start that over.
Okay, I was very impressed with Rob. I hated it when he went on. I was pleased with him when he went on his mission trip for 6 years, but I was worried, oh my goodness, I don't have Rob to depend on. But I hadn't needed him, so I hate to tell him that, but I haven't needed him at all. They've been great. But he and his staff are just outstanding. Yeah.
Is there any? What has there gotten to a point where you forgot you had?
Oh yeah, I forget. Well, matter of fact, when they called me to do this, I thought, oh well, yeah, I can do that, no problem. I'd almost forgot I had them. You know, they just are just such a part of you. You just don't know that they're there, which is a good thing, really.
Going forward, if one of your family members were going to think about this, would you recommend this to
Oh
them?
man, I'd probably loan them some money if they needed it to help get them in, you know, because it's a very good investment, no question. Outstanding investment.
Charlie, that was great. That was great. I too. Okay, let me say, tell me about your life before you got the implant. Or are they all on 4?
Well, they're all on 4. And of course, the reason I got them is because my teeth were really getting to a point where it was very uncomfortable, and I just didn't want to handle that. Actually, it started when I was in my 70s, and it was mostly my upper teeth. And the first one that went out was one of the front big ones there. And it got loose, and you know how it usually is where you take your tongue and move it back and forth. Well, that got to be, finally one day, it came out. Well, actually, I went to the dentist and she pulled it out. But in the meantime, I had to put some kind of temporary deal in there so I wasn't walking around with a big gap in front of my mouth. So then the other one, I went like that for a while. I said, this isn't going to work. I got to do something. And I went to Dr. Schroring and have him look at it. And this was, I guess I was in 73, 74.
How old are you now?
I'm 84 right now.
Okay.
And so Bob took a look at it and told me what he thought it was, what the best step was to do next, because some of the other upper teeth were starting to get bad. They weren't going to last the long haul, you know, hope a long haul. And so I let this go on for a few months, and finally I went back to Dr. Shoring, and I said, all right, let's do it. And he was going to do not individual implants, not pulling each tooth and then putting a new one in and so forth. He was going to do it what they called all on 4, which meant that the upper piece was, all the upper teeth were on one, whatever they call it, bridge or
Right.
so forth, platform. But so anyway, I went into his office and first time, and I believe they fitted me for a temporary, what they call a temporary set of upper teeth, because they were going to pull out all the teeth and then put the pegs in, what do they call it, anchors, and then put the temporaries in until my final pair, this set,
Yeah.
could be put in.
Yeah.
And so that was a procedure. It was pretty.
Let me ask you, what did you think about the? Now you've had them for how many years? 9 years?
I just about 9 years, maybe 9.5.
9.5. What are your thoughts on having them for 9 years. How have they felt during that 9-year period?
Well, I'm really happy with them. I never thought it would be this good. I mean, I never wanted to have false teeth. Nobody wants to have false teeth.
Sure.
Where you have to take them out, so forth. And once they were in, and after a few days or a week or so, once you get used to them, it's just like your own teeth, your original teeth, only better because they don't decay. But and you still floss, brush your teeth like you should, just like you would with your normal teeth. But these teeth, just like right now, I can't tell the difference between the upper and the lower. I mean, if somebody asked me, which my lower, and I got a couple of implants down here, just individual.
Yeah.
But basically, my lower teeth are my own teeth. But this all-on-4, it was really easy. You went in, and they pulled all the teeth. I was under sedation, whatever. And all the teeth, put the anchors in, pegs, whatever, and then put the plate in, the teeth, the temporary. And then I walked out. And I had these, and I was happy with the temporary teeth to begin with. And so anyway, I guess they sent it to the lab or what. I'm just doing this from memory. I forget the time and everything. But it wasn't a bad experience, really, like you'd think of, like you go in and get all your teeth pulled out.
Yeah.
And well, anyway, when they finally called me in, took the temporaries out, put them in a box. Said, here, save these in case something happens. We have to take it out and do something with them. And then he put the ones I got in now. And I'm telling you, it's in these 9 years, I haven't had a problem with them. I brush them just like the others. Now I do floss up in between the gum line and the bridge of the teeth themselves. But I take more care with my teeth because I realize, like everybody else should, that they aren't going to last if you don't.
So many people who have dentures. My dad has dentures, and he's had bone loss here, and I can see you've had none of that. And what would you say over these 9 years is eating? Do you have to like be careful when you eat, or tell me about how your eating is now?
Well, at first I was careful naturally because you don't want to break off a tooth, even though that wouldn't be the end of the world. All you do is go back in and they'd cement it back on if something would come with it.
Sure.
But I had no problems with that. Now I don't deliberately bite down on hard candy or stuff like that, like anybody should. You could break off your own teeth, your natural teeth, doing that. So no more than what a person would normally do.
So you eat. Would it be fair to say that you eat pretty much like you ate when you were 20?
Well, maybe the age difference
Right.
might
but
change
I mean,
things.
as far
But
as the teeth
no,
are concerned.
I still got. They're fine. I can chew the way I should, and I don't have to be real careful. I mean, you don't go overboard. You don't bite on something real hard. I mean, you wouldn't do that way. But anyway, no. And answer your question, it's fine, just the way it is, just like my own teeth.
How has have you had people say, "Wow, you've got a really pretty smile. Wow, your teeth look great." You ever had people tell you that?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, you do. Let me be the first one to tell you.
Because most of the people that I talk to probably don't even have any teeth. No, I'm just kidding. No, I've been complimented on them, yes.
Yeah.
But I'm real happy with them.
Let me ask you, if you had a friend or family member who was thinking about having this, what would you tell them?
I would say if he's in relatively the same position I was in, and it depends on the person, but I would say go for it. I mean, especially with the experience I've had with Dr. Shoring, I mean, there was just, it just went as smooth as it could be.
What do you think of Dr. Shoring's staff when you were there?
Of course, it's been, I guess it's been 8 or 9 years before I've even been back to see him.
Right.
I mean, I just go to my regular dentist.
Yeah.
But at the time, his staff was, you know, professional and courteous, and the way you'd expect a well-run office to be. They were just fine.
You know, I talked to a guy who's had his for 13 years, and he just says, you know, you just forget about them. They just become a part of you. Do you feel that with yours? You don't feel like they're part of an artificial
Oh, no.
part of your body?
I never think about that, no. Because I think they're better, really, than, I mean, they're so much better than what I had, which was, and I just don't like the idea of having to, having regular false teeth where you have to take them out, put them in a glass or whatever, this, that, and the other. And,
Well, you know, so many people who are in nursing homes, that's one of the biggest fears of being in a nursing home is, you know, maybe that one, you know, really busy assistant doesn't pull your teeth or doesn't bring them back or leaves them on the thing, can't give them back to you, they can't reach them. And you don't have to worry about that. Not to say you're going to a nursing home,
No.
but, you know.
no, that thought never crossed my mind, really, because you don't have to, just like your regular teeth. I mean, let's put it this way, there are no more trouble, or there are no more maintenance than your regular teeth would require.
So, your experience, what would you say your experience has been?
My experience has been, as you probably discerned from what I previously talked about, has been great. Absolutely great. I couldn't ask for it to be any better.
Great.
The outcome.
Great. Hold on.
Okay.
Go ahead, Hannah. Come on in.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry about that.
Our vacuum manager's your dog kept
I know. I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Anyone barking in the background.
And we were almost done. Let me. If you were to do it again, what would you say?
I'd definitely do it. I wouldn't hesitate at all, because the way the outcome was, I couldn't have hoped for anything better, really. I'm not just saying that because I have to live every day, and for the past 9 years, I've been living with my set of teeth, uppers and lowers, and it's no trouble at all. Less trouble than my own teeth. Let's put it that way.
That's great. All right.
Raise it up higher.
Okay, Rob. You know, if we're going to do this like I'm asking you questions, you probably best look off at me.
Yeah.
If you're looking directly at the audience,
Right.
look at the camera. So
We might just do it two ways, and we got a
Okay.
little time.
let me grab a stick. And just for my spelling, say and spell your first and last name for the lower third.
Sure. Robert Shoring, R-O-B-E-R-T, S-C-H-R-O-E-R-I-N-G.
Okay, great.
Well,
And-
let me hit some things myself first,
Great.
and then you start asking me questions.
Sounds good.
That way, things I miss, you can fill in.
Sounds good.
You know, I started getting into implants in 1986. I was a junior in dental school, and I really thought, wow, this is going to be the step for the future. This is what people are going to get in the future. At that time, it was very experimental. I remember asking a professor at dental school what he thought about implants. He said, don't ever do it, it's malpractice. I just kind of laughed and thought, no, this is what people want. This is what people need. People don't want to wear partials. They don't want to wear dentures. They want to have their own teeth. And implants is like having your third set of teeth. There's nothing more satisfying than doing a set of teeth for somebody who's had a denture or a partial, have them stand up, Many of them just give me a hug. Many of them just look in the mirror and they start crying. They haven't had teeth for years and years, and now they've got a full set of teeth that they don't have to take out, put in a glass. They don't have to worry about putting somewhere else and cleaning. It's their teeth. It's part of them. So part of the body that's lost now is found. And there's nothing more satisfying for me as a dentist than to be a part of that. Okay. I don't know. I'm just making up stuff right
I
now.
love that, but why don't you mention that, you know, this is tried and true technology.
Yeah.
Patients have been, you know,
Okay. You know, implants started back in the 30s. Actually, even before that, they found implants in Egyptian mummies.
let's start that again before you just.
Okay. Implants were actually found in Egyptian mummies, so it's not a new procedure, but really in modern dentistry, it's been started in the 1930s. Now, it wasn't until late 80s and early 90s that it became more perfected and more mainstream. The technology is advanced just like all technologies have advanced. I can say I've been part of that advancement because back in 1990 when I started my training in dental implants, the procedure was you had to remove a tooth, wait 6 months, put the implant in, wait another 6 months, and then surgically uncover the implant. And now, a year later, you get to have teeth attached to this root that's down in the bone. That's a long process. It's a lot of procedures, 3 surgical procedures. So I was able to be a part of the new technique that we utilize now of placing the implant at the same time we extract the tooth and putting a temporary tooth on at the same time. But the new wave is not just walking in, getting your implants and having temporary teeth. The new wave is actually coming in, having your implant placed, having the permanent tooth placed at the same time. And that's really what we'll be doing here with Advanced Implant Centers. So we're going to be taking patients in 24 hours, they're completely done. No more waiting for the final teeth, no more waiting for the prosthesis to be developed at the lab. Everything is taken care of in-house through our services for the patient. I don't know what else to say now.
I think that's great, Rob.
Okay.
I'm telling you, man. You haven't lost a beat on that.
Yeah. Let me think what else. Well, you just ask me questions. That'll be the easiest thing.
You know, I met Mr. Wilson, who has had his implant for 13 years. What's it make you feel like when you see somebody whose life has really changed?
Well, it's amazing to me that what we're able to do for patients. Here's a patient that had a few teeth left. They were ground down. You could barely see the teeth. He couldn't really hold his partial end. He'd had root canals. He had all kinds of problems. And now we can go and just remove those problems and give him something that's permanent. Now, God gives you teeth, and you can't say what we do is better than what God gave you, but the implants won't decay. They won't need a root canal. They won't have a filling. They're made out of titanium. You could throw bacteria on that titanium for 1,000 years and nothing's going to happen to it. It's one of the best metals, noble metals, that you can have. It's the most I'm trying to think of the word for it now. Most compatible biomaterial that is out there on the market. So patients like him, I expect him to have his teeth for 13 years. I expect him to have his teeth till he dies. And so it's just very satisfying to see him and know that for the past 13 years he's been having teeth that are his own, that he can chew and eat anything he wants. He can smile confidently. He tells me time and time again, it's just like having a new life. It's just the quality of life has gone up. And even though he's in his senior years, I guess I knocked that off. Haven't done this in a while, Mark, so I got to think
Rob.
through all this stuff.
Let me put that in your pocket.
Yeah. Here, let me take my phone out of here and turn it off, as a matter of fact.
You can just put it on silent.
Yeah, I'll do that.
I'll start another clip here. You know, a lot of times, even when they have a great set of dentures, my father, for instance, his face still has changed up here, up around his upper cheeks, seem to have sunk in. What happens to somebody that's had it all on 4?
Well, patients lose bone when they lose teeth, and it's a slow process. So just like the frog in the kettle, they just don't notice the fact. Oh.
Start that again.
Okay.
I should check that. Let me ask that again. Where is that? Sit down. Let me ask you. You know, my father's got he's got a great set of dentures, but I've noticed over time his upper cheeks have sunk. What would somebody who gets an all-on-4 what can they expect?
Well, you're correct in saying once a person loses their teeth, the jaws begin to shrink. They begin to lose their jawbone. And so some people get what we call witch's chin because they have no bone in between, so when they close, the chin extends out and everything sinks in and it looks sort of like you see a picture of a witch. So that's the term witch's chin. Aesthetically, it makes a patient look 10, 15 years older. And it just takes away that vitality of youth that you have because of your bone structure. So when we restore that with an all-on-4, unlike what you can do with a denture, we can actually replace that area that's been lost so they look 10, 15 years younger. They look great. And the implants we place in stabilize the bone loss so there's no more bone loss. So that process stops. So we have patients that really comment on how more youthful they look. We even have a lot of them that say, you know, my children or some of my neighbors didn't know I had implants, but they keep telling me something's different about you. You just look more youthful. You just look better. And of course, a lot of them are smiling now because they didn't smile before, but they just feel better about themselves. They feel like they've got a new start on life.
You know, when somebody's considering plastic surgery or something, and if they're having dentures, it sounds like to me the first thing you should do is get an all-on-4.
Well, for years, I had a plastic surgeon that had space above me in my office. And when he had patients that had that jawbone loss, he told them just go down and see Dr. Shoring. He said, he can take care of that, I can't. And so he saw the benefit of it. And it does take care of the wrinkling in the face. It brings that fullness back, sort of like a Botox, but it's permanent. So it really restores everything for that patient that they want to have restored because it gives them a full smile again.
You know, I noticed so many of your patients have told me that they come in, they come out, there's hardly any pain at all, and then they walk out with a full set of teeth, and they're shocked that they're able to eat. Tell me about that.
Well, I will tell you, the surgery we do is a fairly complicated procedure, and when they leave, I'm surprised sometimes. They don't have discomfort. Now, one of the reasons they don't have discomfort is because we're placing teeth right over where we did surgery. Patients are going to chew and eat. The reason they have pain after surgery, typically without implants, is because when they, let me get a drink of water and then I'll go over that again.
Doing good, man.
I can't.
Yeah.
Any Sudafed or something, I'll be want to go sleep, yeah. I'm really bad with
I'll
that.
give you one at about 4.
Now, what was the question you asked me again?
You know, so many of the people that I talk to, they
Yeah,
tell
no
me
pain.
they come out, there's no pain, hardly any pain, and they're able to eat. And they have their permanent teeth. Tell me about that.
Well, a lot of times when you have surgery in the mouth, you're removing something, removing teeth that's traumatic. Here, we're actually placing something back in that was lost. And because we're not putting a denture back in, we're giving your teeth right at the same appointment. When they chew and eat, because everybody has to chew and eat, even though they've had surgery, that tissue's not being squeezed, it's not being pressed upon because the teeth are protecting that area. So our patients rarely take any pain meds. We want them to take it the first night just to make sure they sleep well. But after that, rarely have I had a patient tell me they needed pain meds the next day. And they probably didn't even need them that evening, but we want them to take them just to help them sleep better. So it's a great procedure because most people are scared when they come in. They're afraid. I've had a lot of patients come to me and said, you know, the reason my teeth are this way because I'm scared to death to go to the dentist. And we can put them to sleep. There's no trauma. They leave with a full set of teeth that will not cause them pain because there's no nerves attached to it. So their dental problems, pain-wise, are gone. Hopefully their dental problems are gone forever. So it's really just a great procedure for a patient to get rid of all those things that they had trouble with and start anew and not have complications in the future.
You know, I've seen people that you know, have trouble eating. And how does that change somebody's life to be able to eat like you've got your teeth are brand new?
Mm-hmm. Well, there's been a lot of studies done with patients with dentures and partials. And patients with dentures and partials, for one, die 10 years earlier than patients with teeth or implants. And the reason for that is because of their diet, because they can't eat and chew the foods that they should be eating and chewing. So they're on a soft diet, they're eating a lot of processed foods, a lot of them develop diverticulitis, a lot of them develop colon cancer. That's definitely on the rise in the United States. So these problems are directly attributed to the fact that the patient can't chew and eat the food. I mean, the PSI, pounds per square inch, for a denture is about 30. So the chewing force is not great. With implants, you can 600. You can do as much as you need, as much as you want. So their diet changes when they get implants because now they can go back and enjoy those foods that they always enjoyed. They don't have to cook their foods. They can eat raw vegetables, raw fruits. They can just enjoy life again. You know, one thing about implants is you eat every day. Patients will ask me sometimes, well, or tell me sometimes, well, I'm just too old to get implants. I said, well, you're too old to eat. Well, of course I have to eat. Well, that helps them eat the things that they need to eat and enjoy life. It's just the small things in life that really make a patient happy. And I've noticed with a lot of my patients, the older patients, especially when they come back and they'll tell me about a trip and they'll start telling me about the food they ate. And that always seems to be the highlight of their trip is this dinner and that dinner. So here we can establish again their quality of life because they can eat the things that they want, eat the things that they desire. It doesn't matter if they're 90 or if they're 20, they still need to eat and they want to enjoy the food that they eat. So really it's enjoying life again as opposed to having to be handicapped in life when that's not necessary.
You know, I've met one of your patients.
I might take that. What was that, Zyrtec you have?
Yeah,
I might.
this, and you'll just look at me.
Okay.
And first, say and spell your first and last name for the lower third.
Okay, it's Vicky, V-I-K-K-I, French, F-R-E-N-C-H.
And you've had your all-on-4 or your implant. Did you get the all-on-4 with all? How long have you had that?
30 years.
30 years. So how has your experience been?
Wonderful.
Tell me what life is like with the all-on-4. We're interested in people. We've talked to people who've just had them done.
Yeah.
But we want to talk to people what their experience has been through their life with them.
Well, I tell people I never had any pain. And people tell me that I'm lying, that you have to have pain. It's how bad you want something. And I had very ugly teeth. So I feel to be able to eat food and your mouth not hurt, it's the best thing in the world.
You know, by the way, you have a beautiful smile. Do people tell you, wow, you've got the best
they
smile?
always talk that, and they don't even believe that they're implants. I mean, to this day, they'll say, there's no way. And I tell them all the time, you know, they'll say, you didn't have just a little pain? I said, you know what? If you really want something, you can withstand pain. Yeah. But I will swear to you, I had no pain. And I didn't. And I had, even through that surgery to put my sinuses up, I don't know how they did it, whether they went up through my back of my mouth or my nose. I mean, I had a lot of work done, but
And you know, I had told you about my father, and he's had dentures for a long time, and he has a nice $2,000 set of dentures, and but his face has changed. Did you know any people that
Yes.
that you've seen that, and what are you have you?
well, I had my dentures 4 years and had no problem with them. I was probably one of few that never complained about my dentures. They never fell out. I could eat corn on the cob. I could eat steak. So they were like, well, why do you want implants? I said, because I don't want to not have bone, and my grandkids look at me and they think, ooh, Mama, where's your face? It's sucking in. And a lot of people don't think about that until it's too late. But the money was an issue for me because at the time I had a daycare in my home and I made good money, but I didn't have enough to put enough aside. Well, my father said, you have wanted pretty teeth your whole life. And mine was always very soft, so the filling would break them off. So he actually paid the whole part for me. And it was the happiest day of my life. So I've had two friends, and I don't even know how to describe them, but they looked almost scary. Their teeth were so deformed in their mouth. And this one lady, I don't know, I'm not bragging, but she always wanted to be like me. But she never had any money or anyone to help her do anything. But I sent her to Dr. Schoen, and I knew she wouldn't be able to afford it, but she had the sinus problem also because she had no teeth in her mouth. So she finally found a dentist that would do it. It was horrible. She would take, she got dentures, family. She couldn't afford dentures. They finally pulled the teeth so she'd fill them so full of that denture adhesive stuff that she couldn't even talk. And she finally did get them, and 2 months later she died.
You know, what do you say to somebody who's thinking about, well, first of all, as you've gone through your life with this all on four, how has eating been?
Great. I mean, well, I do eat things that I shouldn't. I always wanted to be able to eat crushed ice, and that's the worst thing, I know. But in the beginning, that was my biggest enjoyment, was to eat crushed ice. And they would always say, don't do that. I said, I've waited so long, you don't understand.
So can you now, can you eat like
Everything.
steak and corn on the cob and?
There's nothing, in fact, there's things that I can eat that, like, my kids will say, oh, don't that hurt your teeth, Mom? I said, nope, nothing ever hurts.
How's the maintenance on it?
Well, they clean them, and there's really, I think, like in the years, in 30 years, it's just like anybody else's real teeth. They have a tendency to wear down. So however your bite is, mine would be more that the outside is more raised than the inside. So the top is a little flatter. And because of that, say if I'm eating anything tough, then I have to chew it a little more because there's not the ridge that was on the top of the
Well,
tooth.
let me ask you this: as far as maintenance, is it any more than like just going and getting a cleaning?
No.
That's basically all you
And
have to worry about.
I brush my teeth and I have a water pick just like I did when I used to have teeth. No.
Let me ask you this: when you feel them in your mouth, you wake up in the morning. What's it feel like?
Like
You got
I've
teeth.
always had teeth. And you don't have anything in the roof of your mouth. So you can burn your roof of your mouth like if you take a bite of chili or something. Yeah. My daughter just burnt the roof of hers the other day and she goes, "Do you do that?" I said, "Yeah." But, you know, people look at me now and my neighbor said the other day, she goes, "Your teeth look better than mine." I said, "I know." Because I mean, you know, let's say this, I had an option. I could have kept the dentures. Because I'm telling you, I ate apples and I didn't cut them in two. I just would bite into them. I had good dentures. I think I'm the only one that never complained about them. But I didn't want my face to be sunk in and me, one of those people, to spit their teeth across the floor. So I said, this is silly. This is the least I'm going to do. I'm going to get these teeth. And it was a long process. I think now it's so much shorter.
Oh yeah, now it's a lot shorter. You go in for one appointment and you come out with your permanent teeth.
Oh, mine was every bit of 6 to 8 months.
That's okay. Well, we don't want to hear about that.
Yeah. Well, you know, and even if I were to do them again, all over again, I'd still want the all-in-4, like, you know, they make the little bitty ones. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he would be a dentist that would do it, but first I heard that was not really as good, but now they more or less concrete them in, as well as put them on like an all-in-4.
Yeah.
But
if you had a friend that was dealing with, you know,
I do.
What would you tell them?
I have a friend right now that I'm going to take her to Florida on the 5th of next month to see her daughter. I took her 2 years ago when her mother was dying. She can't drive that far.
Yeah.
And she can't even wear her dentures. So she goes without, and she wants them so bad. But the lady lives on $1,000 a month from Social Security. And I have spent almost $35,000 giving her stuff and buying stuff because, well,
That's
I'm a
awfully
giver.
Sweet. You know what? When we have friends, you know,
I
we're
don't.
here to help our friends. I agree with you completely. I've got friends that are like that, and that's what I'm for. If I can help you in any way, I will.
I just don't know how she's lived this way. I mean, not that I have lived a rich life, but I had a good life. And I've tried to help if I can, but I went to see a dentist because naturally I didn't know when he called, I was like, the first words out of my mouth is, "What are you doing
I
here?"
thought you were in India.
Yeah. So anyway, I talked to this guy. I don't even know what his name is. He's out down like in Shively, and he does the little ones. Mm-hmm. They're still $15,000.
Yeah. Well, I'm doing this for a marketing tape, so let's kind of stay generic. If you were to have a friend ask you about getting an all-on-4, what would you tell them?
Well, what I have is naturally the way I would tell them to go because I have had not the first thing wrong or go wrong or hurt. Nothing. So I would tell them to do this. I don't know anything about any other kind.
Let me ask you, eating has been, when you eat now, it's just like your regular teeth, right?
Right.
You don't think anything, let me
Right.
have you say that in a way that doesn't have me asking the question.
I can, okay, the other night, my daughter and I went to Old Charlie's. I got a steak, a baked potato, a salad, and I had no issues whatsoever. And my daughter said, I think that's the first time you have finished your steak. And I said, well, it was good. You know, I have no issues with nothing. Now, I put candy apple around Christmas times, you know, and I dearly love those red ones. Didn't have a bit of problems. And I will see people when we go out with people that know that I've got them, and I'll see them watch me. And tickles me because I'll say, they're not going to come out. I mean, because I showed them how the screws are way up here, you know? I said, if they do, they're going to pull my brains out.
Well, thank you so much, Vicky.